Play! I have absolutely no idea what that means. I just know my kids do it all the time and it's something to do with TikTok. I think it means when there's something good. So today I'm back in the Howgill Fells and I'm heading up that thing behind me. Now it's one of the lower Howgill Fells and it's called Howgill Head. I think it's 500 odd metres. I've never done it before. I'm going to head up that, drop over down the back, and then because the forecast is not great for the rest of this trip, I'm going to camp low down in one of the valleys. The fell tops in the Howgills are hard won. They have mostly convex slopes, so you get false summits. But one thing, you do gain height quickly. This sort of marshy, rushy area here. It looks like it was potentially a tarn once, that's since sort of dried and silted up. Now this stone here is named on maps. It's called the Blake'thwaite stone, and a named stone always fills me with intrigue. Must have been important once. I don't know whether that gouge on it is entirely natural, but here it looks to be some kind of arrow and it looks too big for a benchmark. Obviously of significance. What a dramatic place this is. I'm somewhere above the spout, but I can't quite work out exactly where it is. And I don't want to drop down too low in case I get in difficulties, but I seem to be a bit high above the gill. I've just got to weigh this up. That there, that little white blob, I think is the lip of the spout. So I've got to get round that and below it. It's nice folding in the rocks there. Look at that there, what an amazing place this is. This is the spout. Fantastic geology too, such contortions in the rocks hereabouts. Nearly. Can you see that curved bit of rock there? That marks the bottom of a syncline, i.e. a downward fold. So we finally made it to Black Forest, and what a treacherous path that is from the spout to here. Really got to be careful where you're putting your feet. I've had another typical one of my nightmares, a Patagonia micro puff nightmare. When I was up at the spout, I put my jacket down and a gust of wind come and it lifted it vertically, carried it horizontally and deposited it beautifully right in the river. And it started sailing downstream. So I had to charge after it. Anyway, I managed to get it all right. It wasn't too soaked, it almost like floated like a bubble on the top. I still tried to dry it a bit. I think this could be the spot. A few little gusts, you can see the grass rippling, but a bit of a bank in here as well. And right by the brook. Well, I just got that up in the nick of time. We've just had a shower and all sorted. Not an easy pitch really, it's lovely and flat, but under this grass it's just river rubble and debris, very stony. Still in my winter sleeping bag. So when I said I was after this today, this was like plan B, or maybe even plan C or D. In an ideal world, my plan was to do Little Fell, one of my Dale's 30 that I need, number 29 out of 30. And Little Fell is the southernmost point, the southernmost fell on Malastang Edge. And I've done the other section of Malastang Edge twice, but I've always omitted Little Fell in the past. I wish I hadn't done now. But the forecast over Garsdale Headway it was just crap. High winds. I mean, it's high winds today on the tops here, I think. Over 50 mile an hour winds on the tops, they were saying. And it were worse the further east you got. The winds are from the northeast. So that were a non-starter. And then I considered doing Gregareth, not far from Ingleton. I haven't done it for years. Nice summit wall that'd give me some shelter. Anyway, I opted for this one. It's not been a long walk. A nice steady climb up. What's it called? Ulldale Fell, whatever. Nice steady climb. I was okay up there. On the top of there though, really windy. But my plan was always to camp down here for the shelter, and it's been a wise choice. Been right happy with today's walk. Really enjoyed it. Typically I like to make a full day of these wild camps. I like to be up and out early, get parked, and then do a reasonable sort of walk, spend all day out and about. But another reason why I've done this shorter one today, the winds were much worse earlier on in the day, so I just didn't fancy getting blown about early on, and they were forecast to ease as the afternoon wore on, so I didn't set off quite late this morning, and I think I got up and parked near at the bottom of Howgill, near the bridge. Don't know what time I got, about 2 o'clock. So yeah, it was a nice easy start to the day really. And then the walk afterwards, it was a very leisurely affair. It was quite pleasant when you got out of that wind. So I'll show you today's route on the map. I parked here, just by Gibbet Hill near Howgill Bridge, and then I followed like a bit of a quad bike track down to this little confluence here, and then I don't know whether the camera's picking it up, but there's a thin black dotted line that sort of winds its way up the fell up to top of Weasel Gill, and then I cut round onto Uldale Head here, and it was sort of as the ridge narrowed here that the winds really picked up. They were ferocious really, but as soon as I started heading down this steep slope, it started to ease a bit. So then I came to the Blake'thwaite stone there, and then the exhilarating bit was sort of from there all the way down to the foot of Black Force. So I followed a really thin sheep track here, and then there was that pretty scary descent to the bottom of the spout, and then I followed the ravine to the bottom of Small Gill. I had a little stop there looking for a camp spot, but I'm actually camped sort of around here at the bottom of Green Knot Gill. As you can see, my micro puff recovered from its dunking. It's dry now. It's good stuff, this man-made fibre, whatever it's made off. It dried quickly. If I'd have come in my down jacket, it'd have been like a bloody soggy tissue. Looking up the valley, well, behind me, the valley, you can see there's a lot of dark cloud, and that's where these rain showers are coming over from. Whereas if you look down the valley, it's a lot brighter there, well, a bit brighter, and that's where the sun's setting. It's been a very changeable day really. I set off standardly kitted out, pretty average for the time of year, and I was sweating those out as I climbed Uldale Head. So I stripped off, got my legs out. I'm walking in my pumps for the first time this year, which is always a nice milestone. One of my favourite trees is an hawthorn, and just here above me there's a nice little gnarled, twisted, wind blasted hawthorn, and it's like a sentinel looking down on where I pitched the tent. I like stuff like that. Give it another month, that hawthorn looks spectacular, a bit full of May blossom. A bit later up here in these northern fells. I'm just going to have a walk now, just a bit downstream. I'm just got a bit of time to kill. I'm not hungry yet, it's still quite light, so might as well enjoy the outdoors. I'm just reading Wainwright's Walks on the Howgill Fells, and Walk 12 in the book is titled Howgill and Uldale Head, and it's pretty much the route I've done today, although I did it in reverse. Interestingly, Wainwright, when he were mapping the route and doing his research for this walk, came to the conclusion that the Ordnance Survey in 1972, I think it was, when this book was published, had made a mistake with the height of Uldale Head. On the map, they had it down as 1,553 feet. And Wainwright reckoned, when he stood on Uldale Head,
that they'd made a mistake. He thought it was higher. Using the surrounding fells to do some rough measurements, he came to the conclusion it was around 1,700 feet. And subsequently, the Ordnance Survey came back and remapped it, and Wainwright was correct. When the Ordnance Survey remapped it, they found that Howgill Head was in fact 1,747 feet. Quite impressive that, really. We're no dummy, Wainwright.
Right, it's nearly 11:15. I'm gonna sort of start bedding down for the night. I've got a little bit of wine left, but I'm going to turn the lights out now and I'm going to lie down and listen to one of the BBC Sounds podcasts I've got on my phone. Oops, just banged my nose on my hanger thing. The showers seem to have eased off for the past sort of 3/4 of an hour or so. Not much in the way of any inclement weather, really. I can hear the sound of the river. I hope that doesn't keep me awake all night. I've got the earplugs if I need them. But yeah, that's it for tonight. I'll speak to you again in the morning. Good night. Morning, folks. It's 10 to 6. I've been awake about half an hour or so. Slept okay, not bad for me. Woke up about 3. It was raining then, and it's still a little bit showery now. From here, I've only got about half an hour's walk back to the car, which is quite handy, really. I can be on my way soon. I might call at a service station on my way home for breakfast. So I'm going to make myself a brew, grab a bite to eat, and then I'll start tackling down. Definitely a tea man, me, really, but I quite like a coffee now and again, and these coffee bags make an half decent brew. Ooh, nice sheepfold here. I do like my sheepfolds. Right, I'm only about 10 minutes back to the car. Just got across the river here and the bloody rocks are slippy when they're wet, these. Tell you what I've been seeing a lot while I've been walking down Carling Gill. Definitely the bird of the trip, wheatears. I'm seeing quite a lot. You just sort of flush them and then they're going up the hillside and perching on a rock and scolding me. No, this has been a thoroughly enjoyable trip. I was a bit crammed when I set off because I couldn't do plan A. But this alternative, hang on here, I'm a bit stuck. Oh, I'll have to pause here. This alternative has been a good one. I've really enjoyed it. Not a long walk, but it's just sort of fitted into the window I had perfectly. Managed to avoid the worst of the weather. Nice new Howgill hilltop in Howgill Head. That bit sort of above the spout down past Black Forest, that was excellent, if a little bit airy at times. So no, I'm quite pleased with this one. Right, I need to get across this river, so I will sign off with the usual thanks for watching, look after yourselves, and I'll see you next time.